There's a lot more to Pontefract than licorice all sorts. King's School, now in modern buildings on the Ackworth Road, was founded in the reign of Edward VI. There are pleasant residential suburbs close to the town, which still has many reminders of Pontefract's long history. The war memorial shown here at the bottom of Mill Hill has since been rehoused in Cornmarket. Part of the old barracks on the Wakefield Road is used as a regimental museum, the last link in a long connection between Pontefract and the army. The new inn had a relatively short life. Evacuated prior to demolition, it presented a forlorn picture as it awaited the hammering of progress. Southgate leads to the A1 and Nottingley and is usually busy. It has also carried much of the Castleford and Leeds traffic, but the Newgate bypass should reduce this. St. Giles Church dates from about 1106, but public worship has been held there or nearby for over 1300 years. The water pump, presented by Queen Elizabeth I, stands beside the Buttercross wall. In the central area plans, the Buttercross is a focal point. It was the old market hall built in 1734. St. Giles became the parish church in 1789. The chancel was renewed in the 19th century, and the interior has seen many other changes. Flowers add to the beauty of any church. For 600 years it was known as the Chapel of St. Giles, but the original name of St. Mary's was also used until the 15th century. The Lady Chapel was restored in recent times, but the windows have tracery in the style of the 14th century. Most of the stained glass dates from the 19th century, however. The arcade of 5 bays also dates back to the 14th century, although the pillars on the south side were raised in 1770 on brick pediments level with the top of the pews. St. Giles has always had strong links with the army, and some of the regimental colours are laid up there. The font was moved to the south aisle in 1902. St. Giles was the patron saint of beggars and cripples. Gradually the name of the church changed when Henry de Lacy approved a fair in the town on St. Giles Day. In 1850, the average attendance at morning service was 600 and at evensong 700. Shoemarket is now a curious mixture of old and new. The recently built library has caused much controversy, and it is certainly an unusual shape. The evening sun highlights the north wall and octagonal clock tower of St. Giles. It also adds beauty to the White Hart Inn and other buildings. As the shadows lengthen, the Buttercross arches provide interesting views looking along Marketplace. Pontefract Town Hall stands on the site of the Moot Hall, destroyed in the Civil War. The frieze inside the town hall shows the death of Nelson and is well known. Pontefract was an important clothing and wool centre before the Doomsday Survey, but it grew in importance, and in 1377 it was the largest town in the West Riding. The Central Methodist Church will survive the ravages of the Newgate bypass, but much other property nearby has been demolished. With no through traffic, Ropergate has retained some of its character, but many of the older buildings have gone. Most people pass the covered-in market without noticing the coat of arms over the entrance. Inside, the market is mostly busy, particularly at weekends. The Red Lion, next to the market hall, is one of Pontefract's best-known hotels. Beast Fair now has a variety of shops. Further up, in Cornmarket, is the new site of the War Memorial. Until 1970, Pontefract had its own assizes, but now the courthouse in Front Street is mainly used for cases heard by the local magistrates. Tanshelf, along with Kirkby, was recorded in the Domesday Book. The origin of the later name of Pontefract, or Broken Bridge, is more obscure. The Queen's Hotel used to be popular with racegoers in the pre-motor car era. Pontefract Park covers 360 acres and the racecourse is well known in the north of England. There are also swings and other recreational facilities, with the Prince of Wales Colliery close by, showing the town's connection with the mining industry. The lake is one of the park's chief attractions, but boating is restricted to the afternoons. Scraps of food are soon gobbled up by the ducks and swans. There are only a few flower beds, but these are well kept, and there is a pleasant walk around the lake. The children's playground, which has a variety of equipment, is busy at weekends and holiday times. Pontefract had its own Watergate long before the name achieved notoriety elsewhere. Sessions House Yard runs beside the courthouse and houses the local police station. Free car parking near the shops is an attraction in many small towns, but it will be harder to find in Pontefract after pedestrianisation. Salter Row and Wool Market have been altered in recent years, but the Flying Horse Inn still reflects a more leisurely past. On Fridays and Saturdays, the open market stalls opposite Corn Market and Horse Fair are well patronised. The old archways near the town hall give a good view of the market and surrounding streets. Finkel Street runs off Horse Fair, which was at the western end of the great street leading from Pontefract Castle, originally named Micklegate. Micklegate Church is a fine modern building erected in 1968, where the primitive Methodist chapel, burned down 6 years earlier, had been. Pontefract Castle was one of the finest of the Plantagenet strongholds. It grew out of a Norman fortress and stood on an earlier Saxon site. Although the glory of the castle vanished 300 years ago, the remains and the peaceful gardens now contrast with the tragedy and strife which once was commonplace. After 6 generations in the de Lacy family, the castle was bought by Alice of Lincoln on marriage to Thomas of Lancaster, cousin of Edward II. He was imprisoned there for rebellion and beheaded for treason. John of Gaunt, Shakespeare's Lancaster, also lived here and built the King's Tower. The view across the Ayr Valley now is much different to what the ancient noblemen saw. The ruins cannot reveal the names of the important prisoners who were kept here, like Charles, Duke of Orleans, and James I, King of Scotland, nor can they tell of the tragic murder of the young King, Richard II. graves always attract interest, and although the monks of St. John begged the body of Thomas of Lancaster, some people think that his remains are in the castle grounds, possibly in this stone coffin. The Booths leads to All Saints Church, and most of its old property has suffered demolition. All Saints was a parish church until it was destroyed in the Civil War. Much restoration work has been done, and a life church has been rebuilt within the ancient walls. The 15th century chancellor chapel presented a dejected appearance, however, with no roof. Pontefract General Infirmary is now mainly new buildings in the Friarwood area. The Valley Gardens close to the hospital are at their best in spring. The flower beds, shrubs and blossoms vie with each other to display their beauty. Pontefract already holds a secure place in the history of England. It will surely have a part to play in its future.